Hello, guys. I am Katie. I was engaged to Felix and all set to marry him. We had a beautiful relationship, and his mother, Gina, absolutely adored me. I always longed to have a family and relationship like this, so I thought that marrying Felix would be like a dream come true. You see, this relationship was really important to me. I think I should give you some background about myself to make my situation clearer. I am an orphan. I grew up in foster care since I was abandoned at birth. No one could find out who I was or who my parents were. I was put into foster care where I was supposed to be loved and cared for. I won't go into details about what happened in foster care, but it scared me mentally. By the time I was 13, I got into drugs to have a mental escape from my inner demons. I had been put into a better family by them, but the damage was done. Most people considered me a lost cause because I got seriously addicted to drugs and had a range of behavioral issues. No, I didn't hurt anyone, though. I was mostly a self-destructive person. After I turned 18, I was on my own, living in the street and doing drugs. When I had no money, I got desperate and contacted my caseworker as a last resort. I was put into rehab and therapy again, and this time they made a breakthrough. I started taking my life seriously and eventually got better. My kind caseworker got me in touch with another orphaned woman like me who became successful in life. I will never forget what they have done for me. They sent me back to school to finish my degree and guided me till I got a job. Several years have passed since then. Now I actually have a fairly nice job after I took some skill-enhancing courses. I am not a high-ranking official, but I have a very good job with good pay. I really had my life turned around. Things got even better when I fell in love with Felix. We had a great life together, and we respected each other. He loved me despite my past, and I didn't mind that he only had a minimum wage job. We had a good life together, so I said yes when he proposed to me. Never in my life had I thought that everything was fake. My relationship was a joke, and I didn't even know it. I was happy paying for the majority of our household expenses and even paid for most of our wedding. But apparently that was never enough for Felix and his mother. I thought Gina loved me and was happy to have me as her daughter-in-law. But my beliefs were crushed when she requested a private meeting with me just 2 days before the wedding. We met at a restaurant where she had sat me down to say this. "I needed to talk to you about something important, Katie. That's why I requested this private meeting with you. I hope you don't mind." Oh, no, Gina, I don't mind this. Well, what is this about? Well, since you will be officially joining our family in a few days, I need to tell you about a few expectations we have from you. Okay, go on. I am listening. First of all, you know that this family should always be your priority no matter what. We are a solid bunch, so we help and protect each other when necessary. Yes, I understand that. Of course, this family will be a priority, along with my own. Good that you understand that, Katie. Now, since family helps each other when necessary, you must be willing to do some favors from time to time. At this point, it became pretty clear to me that Gina was onto something. She was very vague in the beginning, but slowly her words started to make sense. She was probably going to ask for a favor. That's what this buildup was about. I was pretty confused as to why she was being so formal with me. I was starting to not like her tone at all. We really didn't have that kind of a relationship. I thought that we were close, so she could ask me for help anytime. So I decided to cut straight to the chase and said, "Do you need something from me, Gina? You can just say it if that's the case. I will help you if I can." "Well, I see that you have been paying attention. Yes, there is something I need you to do. Although I don't see this as a favor. It's more like a duty." "Well, what is it that you want me to do?" "I have a few documents for you. I want you to sign these for me." "What are they about? They look like bank documents." "Yeah, they are documents for a loan. You will be consigning and paying for a loan for me." "Wait, what? Are you serious?" I was in shock when I heard what Gina said. I then read the documents that she had given me to see what they were about. Sure enough, they were papers from the bank asking me to co-sign a loan with Katie. I took one look at the amount and my mind went reeling. She was trying to take out a loan of $50,000 with me as a cosigner. It was just bizarre. I didn't even know why she needed that much money. I was in shock as Gina continued to say, well, you have read the documents. You know that I am not joking. You want me to co-sign on this loan of $50,000? This is too much, Gina. Why is it too much? All I am asking is for a sign. It's not a big deal. If I sign this, I will become liable to pay back the loan. It's a big financial risk. I don't think signing these documents will be smart on my part. Well, it's going to be fine. You have a great job anyway, so you don't have to worry about anything. Besides, if there is trouble, my son can always help. All you need to do is sign. Gina kept a poker face and tried hard to make me sign those papers. She made it sound like this wasn't a big deal at all, but I knew better than to believe her words. I had no idea why someone would think taking a loan of $50,000 would not be a big deal. I was absolutely shocked and confused by my soon-to-be mother-in-law's behavior. The most confusing thing was that I didn't even know why she wanted $50,000 out of the blue. Why do you even need this kind of money? What are you going to do with it? That's none of your business, Katie. If I am going to be a co-signer on this loan, I need to know why you need $50,000 from me. You already have a house, so it's not for that, I am sure. I am obligated to answer you, Katie. I am your soon-to-be mother-in-law. I am not some child who needs to tell everyone what she wants to do. How can you even expect me to sign a loan for you when you won't even tell me why you need it? Because we are family now and we help each other when required. You are not in financial need, Gina. This is just ridiculous. I am not signing such a big loan just because you want me to. This discussion is over. I stood up and left her house immediately. I had a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that Gina had just demanded that I sign a loan for her. It was ridiculous to expect me to give in to her demands like that. According to Gina, I should be willing to do this because I am going to be her family soon. I don't know how many of you actually support this logic, but I find it entitled and offensive. I don't understand where she got this idea in the first place and why she needed so much money. She wasn't in need, that's for sure. I would have known if she was hurting for money. While Gina isn't rich, she lives comfortably and has no pending bills. She was fit as a fiddle, so no medical issues were at hand either. She literally had no emergency or no good reason to demand $50,000 from me. I went home and decided to put this behind me. I really didn't know if I should tell my fiancé about what was going on. All of it felt unreal, and I was desperately hoping that this was a prank or some kind of a ridiculous test. But I had no such luck. Even after I went home, Gina kept blowing up my phone, saying that I had been disrespectful in walking away from her and refusing her request. She called me a bunch of things, including ungrateful and selfish. She was really getting on my nerves, and I realized that she wasn't going to stop with this demand anytime soon. So I decided to tell Felix what happened when he came back from work. That night when Felix was back from work, he had looked particularly irritated. I thought maybe something had happened at work. I was also worried that something was wrong with the wedding preparations. These thoughts made me forget all about Gina for a moment. I was a little panicked and said to my fiancé, "Hey, why do you look so odd? Did something happen at work?" "No, everything is fine at work." "Oh, then is it about the wedding? Is something amiss?" "Don't worry, we still have one day in hand. We can figure things out." "No, this is not about the wedding either, Katie." His words should have reassured me. He made it clear that nothing was wrong with work or the wedding arrangements, but instead of feeling relieved, I felt panic rise in me even more. I had a dreadful feeling in the pit of my stomach and didn't know what to say or do next. Felix was clearly dealing with something because his mood was sour. It wasn't just his expression that gave it away. He also sounded angry and irritated when he was talking to me. I had a feeling that he might have been angry at me. So I said, "If nothing is wrong, then why do you look so irritated? You also sound very mad. Is this something about me?" "Yes, I am in this mood because of you, KT." "What? Why? What did I do? I don't understand." "I know all about what happened with my mother. I must say that I am deeply disappointed in you, Katie. At this point, I was again unsure of what to think. First of all, I hadn't expected my soon-to-be mother-in-law to reach out to Felix and tell him what happened. I mean, the woman must have known that her demand was foolish and entitled. But she did end up talking to Felix about our private meeting. What was even more bizarre was that Felix was mad at me without being mad at his mother. He said that he had been disappointed in me and not his mother. When I heard this, I was sure that Gina had given him some kind of distorted version of what happened. So instead of getting mad at Felix straight away, I cautiously said, You know what happened between Gina and me today? Yes, I know everything. Mom called me and gave me a rundown of what happened. I still can't believe what you did, Katie. Do you even know the full truth of what happened? Do you know that your mother called me for a private meeting today to make me co-sign a loan? Yes, I know all about it. I know my mother had been planning to ask you to co-sign a loan. I am so disappointed that you refused to help her out. So there was no confusion about what happened between me and Gina. Felix knew all about what went down. No, he wasn't given some distorted version where I was deliberately made to look bad. My fiancé knew what his mother was up to and was mad at me because I didn't give in to her demands. I was so confused about his words that I said, "Why on earth are you disappointed in me, Felix? Did you really expect me to happily co-sign a $50,000 loan?" Yes, you should have done just that, Katie. I don't know why you think you are in the right here. What is wrong with you, Felix? Why do you think I should be co-signing a loan that big? Do you understand what a big financial risk this is? Who cares? Nothing would have happened if you had given your signature. Felix was adamant that I should have signed the loan. I had a hard time understanding why he was so insistent. I stupidly thought that maybe there was some emergency that Felix or Gina didn't want to tell me. Maybe they were being shy about it, so they didn't want to give me the reason why Gina needed a loan. So I toned down my anger a bit and said, "Is there something I don't know, Felix? Did Gina get into some trouble?" "No, she is not in any trouble. My mother is not that stupid. There is nothing going on. You just need to stop with these stupid questions and sign the loan. Then just tell me why she needs so much money out of the blue. No one is willing to tell me why so much money is needed." Well, my mom has a few things on her bucket list that she needs to complete. She needs money for that. You know, she can't afford nice things or vacations on her own. That's why she needs help. You can imagine my shock and rage when I found out what the money was about. There was no secret disease or running into the bad crowd stuff. My soon-to-be mother-in-law just wanted to take luxury vacations and go shopping with the money. Basically, she wanted to live like a rich lady on my dime. I was extremely mad, but I controlled my voice and said, "What? So this money is for bucket list stuff like vacations and shopping? This makes things even more insane." Hey, we all have dreams and wish lists. My mother has them too. You are not the only one who has the right to want nice things. In that case, why can't she take out a loan all by herself? Why don't you take out loans for her? I just have good credits, Katie. I have debts from the year I was unemployed. You know that my mom doesn't work. She can't repay the loan on her own. Then how does your mom plan to repay a loan that big without help? What if she stopped repaying it out of the blue? I would have become liable to pay back the loan, Felix. If that happened, you would have paid it back. What? Why would I do that? Why wouldn't you do that, Katie? You have a good job and you are not exactly hurting for money. And what if she never pays any money back? It wouldn't be a big deal. You can just pay back all of it. It's not like you have any other family to spend money on. In fact, that's what I was thinking of telling you. After you co-signed it, I would have told you to pay it back in full as a nice gesture. I was completely dumbfounded by what Felix said. I hadn't expected him to side with his mother the first place, but he proved me dead wrong. Felix didn't just side with his mom about the loan. He also told me that he had expected me to pay back the $50,000 plus interest back to the bank. Basically, I was going to be the one taking the loan while Gina got to keep the money. It completely blew my mind. Why Felix thought this was a good idea? I was furious and said, "Have you lost your mind, Felix? Why would I just give away $50,000 to your mother?" There is no need to use that tone on me, Katie. I haven't lost my mind, and you shouldn't be losing over helping my mother out. She doesn't need help, Felix. She does not have a financial or medical emergency to need that kind of money. My money is not for charity, Felix. Who said that my mother needs charity? This is just a gesture of goodwill and respect on your part. She has done a lot for you, so this is the least you can do. Oh, really, Felix? What exactly has she done for me? Well, she allowed me to marry you despite your unsuitable background. Not many parents would be so welcoming of someone from your background. I was in complete shock when I heard what Felix said. He had expected me to be grateful that his mother had accepted me despite my background. Look, I have no space to disagree with the fact that my background is less than favorable, but that doesn't mean I didn't deserve to marry the man I love. People shouldn't be critical of other people's backgrounds, especially when they have turned their life around. I always thought that Gina and Felix were nice people who were genuinely sympathetic to my past problems. But Felix's words moved something in me. The bad feeling in my stomach intensified, and I asked the questions that I dreaded asking. I said, "What is that supposed to mean, Felix? Do you think that Gina has done me a favor by ignoring my background and not judging me for it?" Well, she could have easily created problems between us, but she didn't. She was more accepting of you than other people would be. And what if she wasn't? Would you have supported me or left me to make her happy? Well, obviously that would have created problems, but my mother had been very accepting of you, so that didn't happen. So you should obey my mother and be grateful to be a part of this family. I was silent for a few minutes and didn't reply to Felix. I had a hard time processing what I had just heard. It was just one day away from my wedding when I realized that I didn't even know my fiance's true face until then. It was like the mask slipped and I saw for the first time what a horrible man my soon-to-be fiance was. I looked at Felix and didn't see the man I fell in love with. He was not the man I knew. The fact that Felix would poke at my insecurities and then ask me to be grateful to his mother absolutely broke me from the inside. He not only supported his mother's stupid demands, but also told me that I should be happy about it all. I was completely dumbfounded, and a realization suddenly dawned on me. It made me realize that the duo didn't respect me as a person. All they saw was a cash cow. I didn't miss how Felix said that I could spare the cash since I didn't have any family to spend money on. That made things much clearer for me. I didn't have much time to come to a decision about what I was going to do. That night, Felix and Gina were pressuring me to sign the loan. I had all of their texts on my phone. They were guilt-tripping me and telling me that I was selfish for not helping out the family. I was in the group chat with them where they absolutely tore into me. They said a lot of things, but this particular section might be interesting for you guys. I had said, "I am not signing any loan, guys. This was a highly entitled demand you made. I am not going to do something that just doesn't sit right with me." Oh God, I can't believe this. We treated you like a queen despite your background and gave you a family that you never had, but now you treat us like this? I am starting to think that maybe you are making a mistake in marrying her, Felix. I agree with you, Mom. I had no idea that Katie was this selfish. Wow, after years of being together, you suddenly think that I am selfish and a horrible person. It is true, Katie. I didn't know this was the real you. To be honest, you are making me rethink the upcoming wedding. It wasn't even a veiled threat. It was all out in the open. The moment I saw that text, I agreed to sign the loan. Gina and Felix were delighted and praised me for doing the right thing. Then they excitedly started to talk about the upcoming wedding. What they didn't know was that there was no way in hell I was going to sign the loan. I had better plans in my mind and I was going to follow them through. The next morning, Gina dropped off these documents at my place with a big smile on her face. I told her that I was running late for some rehearsal dinner arrangements, so I would sign the papers later. I was extra nice to her and even apologized for my earlier behavior so that she wouldn't suspect anything. Then I called my friends for an urgent meeting and told them everything. I also shared my plans with them. Naturally, everyone was on board. That night we had the rehearsal dinner as usual. Felix seemed really happy while I had to fake my feelings for the entire night. After what happened, I was in no mood to be lovey-dovey with him. Thankfully, I was able to fake my way through the rehearsal. I saw Felix at the altar the next day. After the wedding rehearsal, I went to stay with a friend like we had planned before. We did the whole don't see the bride before the wedding thing. In this case, it helped me cry my feelings out at my friend's place without anyone knowing. The next morning, I went to the venue, got dressed, got my bridesmaids dressed, and waited for the show to begin. I walked down the aisle to reach Felix while everyone watched. Felix actually looked very handsome, but it did nothing for me. I knew that his handsome face hid a cold heart that I was about to expose. The ceremony happened, but when the officiant asked if I would take Felix as my husband, I said that I do not. That, of course, shocked everyone, including Felix. There was stunned silence in the room while everyone was processing what just happened. The officiant was confused, so he asked me a second time. My answer didn't change. I said that I wasn't going to take Felix as my husband. Felix looked shocked and a little panicked. He said, "Sweetheart, what's going on? Why are you saying this?" "I am simply answering the officiant as I should." "What? Are you playing a prank?" "Sweetheart, this is not funny. Please be serious." "I am being serious, Felix. I don't want to get married to you." You could literally hear everyone gasp in the room. My bridesmaids were not surprised. Of course, they already knew that the wedding wouldn't happen, so they were expecting this to happen, but everyone else was pretty shocked. I glanced at Gina and saw that her mouth was hanging open. A second later, she started to scream at me and said, "What on earth are you doing, Katie? How could you do this to my son? That too on his wedding day?" "What wedding day, Gina? Didn't you hear? The wedding is not happening since I already said that I won't take Felix as my husband." But I don't understand. What happened, Katie? Why are you doing this?" "You don't know what happened, Felix." "No, I genuinely don't know what happened." "Huh, I see. Hey, Gina, you want to tell Felix and everyone here what happened? I mean, it's only been a day, so I don't know how Felix forgot it so soon. You must remember it since you dropped off those ridiculous documents at my house yesterday morning, Gina." The look on Gina's face was absolutely priceless. She went pale when she understood what I was trying to say. She started to gulp and didn't bother looking into my eyes anymore. Her anger had dissolved into panic and dread. Meanwhile, Felix, who looked equally panicked, started to lovingly caress my face and said, "Let's not discuss this now, Katie. There is no reason to stop the wedding because of a small misunderstanding. We will discuss this and figure out something after the wedding." "Why? What's the matter, Felix? Are you scared of airing your dirty laundry in front of your friends and extended family?" "Don't do this, Katie. Please, let's just discuss this in private." "Discuss this in private as your mother did?" "No thanks, Felix. I would rather everyone here know what you two did and why. I won't be marrying you anymore. Since you and your mother are not interested in spilling the truth, I will. After all, everyone needs to know what kind of greedy idiots you two are." No, Katie, listen to me. Don't do this. Let's talk this out. You wanted me to be grateful, right? See for yourself how I express my gratitude. Everyone, I have a few things to say and show you. I started to tell everyone what had gone down between me, Felix, and Gina. I told them the whole story without missing any details. Gina and Felix stood in their places and looked pale while I narrated the whole incident to everyone they knew. Since I didn't have any family and barely any friends, the wedding guests were more of Felix's friends and family. There were some friends on Gina's side too. As you can see, I paid for the majority of the wedding, including all these guests, even if I didn't know them personally. I was already showing my goodwill, but Gina and Felix decided to ruin everything by being greedy. I narrated the entire story to the guests, and all of them were shocked to their core. A few of their family members approached Gina and asked her if this was all true. She tried to deny and make excuses. But that's when I showed everyone the texts that Gina and Felix sent. I also told them how Felix had threatened our marriage and relationship if I didn't agree to sign the loan papers that Gina had brought me. I made sure everyone knew that what I said was true. Of course, after seeing all the proof, no one was on Felix or Gina's side. They started to verbally attack Felix and Gina while my bridesmaids comforted me. I must admit that I was a little emotional after everything and started to cry thinking about Felix's betrayal. Felix did try to comfort me and beg for forgiveness, but I pushed him away and told him to leave the venue with his mother. Since I paid for most of the wedding, I kicked out Felix and Gina soon after. The guests were harassing them too, so I don't think they wanted to stay back and listen to any more verbal abuse, so they left as soon as possible. After that, all of us enjoyed the party because everything was already paid for. I have lived in poverty for a long time, so I know better than to waste money by canceling everything. Instead, we had a party and the wedding turned into a get-together for everyone. Felix's extended family also stayed back and supported me because they were all disgusted with his and his mom's behavior. That day, I had essentially spoiled Gina and Felix's reputation in the community and among their family members. Even though I wanted to be done with Felix after this, he wouldn't leave me alone. He went home, but I didn't go back with it or after him. I simply sent some of my friends to collect my stuff and informed Felix that I would no longer be with him. He would be stuck paying for the house and his lavish lifestyle without me. I think he panicked when he realized that he had lost his cash cow. Like the pathetic gold digger he was, Felix had approached me several times crying and begging to get back with him. None of his antics worked on me, though. He was forced to move back in with his mother, and the two are fighting between themselves about what happened. Since they had been cut off from most of their friends and family, the duo started to feel lonely and isolated. They regularly fight and are not happy anymore. Whenever I hear this, I am filled with joy, and it just makes my mood a little better.